Okay, so for today's lecture, the topic for our lecture is Unified Modeling Language. We have already studied the concepts of object-oriented. We have studied what are the things which are main characteristics in the object-oriented programming. Those are inheritance, the encapsulation, the data abstraction, and the polymorphism. Those are basic foundation pillar of this particular programming. Now we are going to work out with the next topic, that is unified modeling language. Now in this particular, what we are going to see, we are going to first understand what the unified modeling language is actually. First of all, till date we have studied many languages, programming languages, but let me tell you students that this particular language is completely different. This is not a programming language. Fine. So this is not a programming language. Just focus on this point. While, or rather, I would say that this is a visual language. That is why I am terming it as modeling. Here, modeling is defined as the language in which I can provide a visual platform for my design, for my implementation, and for my process of a particular software which I am going to develop, right? So this particular language was defined, and this language was adopted officially by Object Management Group in 1997. It was defined as a standard language, unified modeling language as a standard in 1997, right? The main aim, now what is the basic and what is the main aim of UML is to define a standard way to visualize the way a system has been designed. Now, what it is, as I told you, that this is a visual language. So this particular language is providing you a standard, certain rules and regulations on which we can visualize this particular system which we are going to design in a specific form of a model, right? Now, in this, UML can be described as a general purpose visual modeling language to visualize, to specify, to construct, and document software system. Now, you must be thinking that how we can just point on these particular topics of all, that is, we can specify, we can construct, we can document whatever the software we are going to design or develop. We have so many aspects of this particular software, right? Firstly, we need requirements, the first stage. Second thing, we are going to design the software on the basis of requirements, right? Then on the basis of design, I am going to implement this design into a code in a specific programming language, and then I'm going to implement it fully and then deploy this particular software. Now, when I say I need to define the requirements, second thing, I need to design, third, I need to code. So all these particular phases have different forms in which we can provide a visual look for this particular software system with the help of this particular language. That means it will provide you many aspects of showing the software in various perspectives. That means, you see, if I can just show you an image, everyone can see that particular image from a different perspective and from different angles and sides. From different angles and sides, it will look little different. From different perspectives, it will be focusing on different aspects, right? So this is what here we are seeing in unified modeling language. That means we are providing a visual format for the software we are going to develop in terms of many forms, in terms of requirements, in terms of design, in terms of implementation, in terms of process, etc., etc. So all these are binded up together. That is why we are terming it as unified, because we are providing what? We are unifying them. We are unifying all the perspectives and aspects of the software in one visual format with the help of this particular language. So this is what the basic thing of unified modeling language. Now you can just see how I have described this three aspects of UML. That is, we have three terms being used as unified, the first one, the second one as the model, and the third one as language. Now, firstly, I'll just explain you language. You all know what a language is. It just helps you to communicate, right, about the subject. When we are talking about the language in terms of software, we are talking about the subject, and the subject includes the requirements and the system. That means to design, to develop a system, what requirements, what is the first thing we need? We need what are the requirements of this system so that they can form the functionalities for the system. So this is providing you what? This is providing you a platform to communicate, right? Now it is difficult to communicate and collaborate for a team to successfully develop a system without a language. We all know that in the software team, because see, software is a virtual thing, right? It is an abstract thing. You cannot see a physical model of the software. So it is very difficult for a software engineer to provide a model of that particular system or software. So how we can just communicate this particular thing so that we can build a successful software. For this particular aspect, we need to have a great communication between the team or among the team members so that they can collaborate and they can develop a successful system. So that is why language is important. Now, what is this model? Model is, it is an abstract idea. It is going to capture a set of ideas known as abstractions about its subject, and it is going to represent it in this form. Now see, if we talk about a building, we know that this is a physical concept and we can just see that particular building, and we can have a specific model or a prototype of that particular model which the customer can easily see and get an idea how the building or the house is going to look like, and what will be the layout, and what will be the directions of windows, of doors, and so many things. So all aspects can be seen, but in a software it is very difficult to understand all these concepts. It is difficult for the client to understand all these things from the developer, and developer need to know what are the exact requirements of the customer. So for that particular thing, we need to have a model, right? Third thing is unified. As I told you, it is going to cover all the aspects of engineering practices. So to bring together the information system and technology industry's best engineering practices are being used, and these particular are being unified together. So these are the three aspects of unified modeling language, and they form what? They form the UML. Now, whatever we have studied till now, that is, I'm just providing you a summarized form. What is it? Modeling is as we know, unified modeling language is a modeling language, obviously, and it uses two things. It uses a vocabulary, it uses rules, which are focusing on what? It is focusing on conceptual and physical representation of a system. When I'm talking about the system, I'm talking about the software we are going to develop, right? We are going to design. So what is the conceptual model? Conceptual, I'm talking about the design part. And when I talk about physical representation, it is providing you a different aspect of the system. So what we can say in general, that this is a standard language for software blueprint, right? We can provide a software blueprint with the help of this particular standard language, which is called as unified modeling language. So that is why you must have seen that whenever the proposal is given for a specific software to be developed, what we give is we always provide these particular use case diagrams and all, which are coming in under this category of unified modeling language. So those are very important. They are going to cover up the gap between the communication which can have between the designer and the customer I mean to say client, right, and the developer and the designer, or the database designer and the requirements, and many more things. So we use UML diagrams to portray two things. The first one is the behavior and second one is the structure. Now when I talk about behavior, this is a conceptual form. This is the conceptual representation when I talk about the behavior, right? Behavior is what? Behavior, you cannot see the behavior actually. You can just form a concept of it. So this is what? This is the conceptual and the behavior which is related. And when I talk about the physical representation, I mean to say the structure. So there are two categories of diagrams basically in UML that are, one is coming under the category of behavior, that is the conceptual representation, and second one as the structure, that is the physical representation of the system. So these two are very important to understand. Now we are going to study these behavior and the structure diagrams in detail in further sessions. Now we are going to continue with this. UML helps software engineers, businessmen, and system architects with modeling, design, and analysis. Right? So we have so many people involved in software engineering part. Those are the businessmen who are forming the clients or the customers, the system architects who are going to design and do the modeling, the one which are going to analyze the requirements. So all these gap, among all these team members, the gap is being fulfilled with the help of what? With the help of this UML, right? And it will help them to communicate among them easily and give a successful software.